Well, you all know me. You know how honest I can be, and I'm going to call people out. So, this video, I'm going to share with you some TikTok rants of people who had bad experiences with real estate agents. Now, mind you, these are TikToks from other real estate agents who had bad dealings with other agents, but I wanted to share these with you to point out things what you need to look for in these shady agents. And, because let's face it, we get a bad rap and real estate agents can really suck.
Ouch, baby. Very ouch.
So let's get into this right now. All right, I went through a bunch of videos here, and I got to tell you, it infuriated me. It really did. But it's important that I share this information with you guys. I want to share these videos of tactics that real estate agents do to get a deal done and to show how real estate agents are in it for themselves. They're not in it for their clients. They're only about getting that commission check. And before you real estate agents who are watching this come at me for this, I'm not wrong here, and I'm going to call it out. And this is why we get such a bad rap in this industry. So let's get into some of these videos right now. Yeah, these are good.
Being a real estate agent, you really have to be careful with how you say things. I was in negotiations and we went back and forth about 2 or 3 times, counter offering. I was representing the buyers for this listing in Orange County. And we ended up about $30,000 in difference. And keep in mind, this house was about $1.5 million. So I sent over our best and final counter. And I told them, if you counter us back, I can't guarantee we're even going to be at the same price. We may even counter back lower. So he texted me and he said, hey, I just want to let you know we received another offer over list price. And we were countering back about $50,000 to $60,000 below list price. I texted back, I said, hey, congratulations, but my buyers are not going any higher. Good luck with your other offer. Hope it works out. If it doesn't, we'll be here. He calls me straight away and he says, did you tell your buyers that we have an offer over list price? I said, yeah, I spoke with them last night. They said this was their best and final and they weren't going to go higher even if you received another offer. And he said, I really want you to call your buyers and explicitly tell them we have an offer over list price so they know that someone is willing to pay significantly more than what they are for this property. And if they want to come up in price, they may still have a chance. I immediately knew this person was talking absolute garbage. If they legitimately had an offer way higher than ours, why would they explicitly want me to tell my clients that they had an offer over list price and they could still get the property if they wanted it? Now, whether or not you believe this person legitimately had an offer over list price, this is a tactic I have experienced before. And it's basically just trying to scare my buyers into raising their offer in fear of missing out that they may get underbid for a property.
Okay, this tactic is very common. I've had this happen to me years ago, and it's got to stop. Do you agents think that people are that stupid and they're not going to see right through that? The agent's calling this guy up and saying, did you tell your buyers that somebody else is willing to pay a lot more money? Yeah, and you know what? They're not going to come up on their price. And if that other supposed offer you got is over list, then why aren't you pursuing that offer? Why do you keep coming back to this guy and his buyer to see if they're willing to come up? You can see right through that. We're not dumb. Agents need to stop lying like this because this is what's going to happen. Now that you flat out lied, we see right through it, that buyer is not going to want to put any offer on that house now. Why? Because they know the listing agent's a liar. They're not going to trust them and they're not going to want to work with them. Because what else is this agent lying about? If they're willing to go to that length to say, oh, I got an offer way above list price. Can you come up on price? Come on. They're not going to want to work with you. So agents, please do better with this. And this is one reason why real estate agents can suck. Sorry, I said it. Let's go on to the next video.
Ooh, bad realtor alert. Just put an offer in on the house, over asking price, waived the inspection contingency, waived the contingency for us needing to sell our own house, and gave a higher offer. But we lost the house. Why? Because the other guy said, even if we can't get financing, you can keep 5% of the home price. And we would have done that if the realtor had said, hey, by the way, you guys have a better offer, but we're probably going to go with the other one. Here's what they're including. But if they did that, all the seller's agent would have gotten is like probably a couple $100 more. So why would he ever bother doing that? I mean, it would make his buyers, make the sellers thousands of more dollars. But it'd only make them a couple $100. So instead of saying, yeah, we'll go back to the original thing and see if we can get you a few thousand more dollars, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, they said, nah, let's not do that. That way I can definitely get my commission and just get a yes tonight. So to the realtors that are wondering why nobody trusts realtors, just know it's because you're not trustworthy.
So true. So this is a case where the listing agent just wanted to seal the deal, take that offer where it was less than this other offer that was over list price, because those terms looked really good to the seller, that if the financing fell through, they were willing to keep 5% of the price. So he didn't go back to these other people who made a higher offer to see if they would be willing to meet that term. Why? Because like you said, it's only going to give him a couple $100 more, and why risk it? And let's just stick with this solid offer we have right now. So now that just cost his seller a few $1,000 more by not going back and asking to see if that higher offer would be willing to match that same term. Dumb. Do better. Again, I know we're all about making our commission checks. We have bills to pay, put food on the table. I understand that, but you're doing your clients a disservice by not going back to that first offer, the higher offer, to see if they would be willing to match that similar term. So shame on that agent. Okay, this next one, it's a little long. I'm going to try to break it up a little bit. This is a tactic. Believe it or not, agents do this. And when you hear this story, you're going to be like, what? How can that be? They do this nonsense. I've seen it firsthand. And yeah, it's not good.
Rude agent at an open house. Not mine, but another agent's. So the agent was very pleasant. Was like, hello. And she was like, and before she even said anything, this agent was like, hi, I'm an agent. I don't need to sign in. And we just all kind of stood there like, okay.
Okay, let me just jump in here. Oh, yes, you do need to sign in. Any open house that I've hosted, you're darn right you're going to sign in. If you're not signing in, give me your business card. Okay, red flag number one. Sorry. Okay, let's continue.
And she walked, she's like, my client will be coming shortly. Okay. And like I said, I was taking my video and I was bumping into people, and she goes into one of the bedrooms, which is one of the children's bedrooms. You could tell it was the children's bedroom. It had little toys and stuff. So all of a sudden I hear I'm having a conversation with the agent. What is this? Oh my God. Really shocking, loud, something happened. So at that moment, she was only by herself, and she was very overwhelmed, the agent, because there's so many people. And I was like, go ahead. I'm like, obviously it's an emergency, because she screamed, this agent. So I was greeting people at the door. I'm like, hi, how are you? Feel free to sign in. I really was helping her out. I felt really bad for her. She goes into the room and you can hear what she's saying to the agent. The agent goes, what is this black stuff on the wall? Well, she goes, it's called chalkboard paint. And she goes, that's not chalk. She was like, yes, this is their children's room. They did a frame with chalkboard so the child can draw on it. And she goes, that's what that black stuff is? She's like, I thought it was mold or something, or mildew.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there again. You see where this agent is going with this? The one who's calling out, what's this black stuff on the wall? You see what she's trying to do? Okay, wait, it gets better. Hold on.
And she was very loud about it. I mean, super loud. It was shocking that the agent ran, because she was like, what is this? And she said, yeah, it's chalkboard paint. It's for the child. And she picked up the chalk to show her. And she just was like, that's odd. Why would anyone do that? Well, because they chose to do that. I don't know. So I'm there and I was like, oh, here's the sign in. And I was like, and I was grabbing a card. And as I'm doing that, that agent rudely pushed herself where the sink was, to look underneath the sink. Oh, I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm in your way. And she's like, this house is disgusting. She's like, it needs more than TLC. And I was like, okay, well, it did indicate that it needs TLC. I said to her, I was like, I'm not yelling, because she was yelling. And I was like, understandable. Maybe it's a lot of work for your client, I said to her. And she's like, a lot of work. She's like, look at this. And I'm like, And again, that is your opinion. I said, you said your client was coming, and her decision. I said, but yeah, it does need some work, and even the other agent was like, yeah, it does indicate that on the MLS, and she just wouldn't stop being loud and obnoxious. And I felt really bad for this agent because if it was me, I would have shut it down. I'd be like, you need to go.
I would have shut it down too. So here's the thing. Do you see what this agent was trying to do? And I've heard of this. I've seen it. And oh my God, it is so unethical. What that agent was trying to do, she was being loud and obnoxious and pointing at all the defects, like saying, oh my God, is that mold on the wall? Because she's trying to get in all the other buyers in that open house. She's trying to get into their head to let them think like, oh, this house is really in bad shape. We don't want to put an offer on it. So she's trying to scare them off so her buyer could get the house. It happens, people. It does. And you agents know it. You've seen it, and agents have done it, especially in these competitive bidding wars. Like in this example, she said there was 100 people at this open house. This agent's going in there, calling the house disgusting. This needs more than TLC, even though it was stated on the MLS. She's trying to scare everybody away from wanting to buy that house so her buyers can buy it. Here's a big problem with this, and this is what I would do. If that agent submitted an offer on behalf of her clients, I would be thinking twice about even accepting that offer. Because if she came in that house behaving that way, you think they're going to make a big deal during the process of buying the house when it comes to the home inspection? They're going to nitpick. They're going to try and get everything they can off the price of that house. They will. And even though the house it's being sold as is, it's listed in the MLS that it needs TLC, and I'm sure the house is priced accordingly, agents like this are going to pull these tactics to try and get a deal for their clients. Now, look, this is what we're supposed to do. I get it, but this was just shady. This is shady to go in and to like talk badly about the house loud enough so people would not want to buy it. Awful. Shame on you. Do better. I know finding a good real estate agent is going to be challenging. So if you need to be connected to an agent in your local market, whether you're selling or buying a house, I'm happy to assist you with that and help you get connected to a good agent. Please click the link down below, fill out the form, and I will get back to you within 24 hours, and I will help you get connected to an agent in your area. Okay, here's another example of shady agent behavior, because as what this agent says in this video, desperate times calls for desperate measures. Check this out.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Inventory has been way down in Los Angeles. Sales volumes also way down. And a lot of real estate agents' income has taken a hit, especially in the higher end market, because there simply are not enough homes to sell. Something really creepy happened today, although it doesn't totally surprise me. There was an open house on a new listing, a very high-end listing. And so there was a sign-in sheet, as is pretty normal. People sign in their name, their number, their email. This is to protect the seller, to know who's coming in the home, and for the agent to contact the people if there's any news about the house. Other agents also go to open houses. Today was no different. In walked a pretty well-known agent. He chit-chatted and proceeded to look around the house. And then before leaving, casually took out his phone and snapped a photo of the sign-in sheet before rushing out the door. I had a run-in with this agent 21 years ago, and I've always considered him a slime ball. But this takes the cake. He's going to reach out to this list of buyers who have signed in to try to get them to buy either that house or something else with him. It's totally unethical.
You think? Oh my gosh. This is a new one. Oh my God. To go into an open house to take a picture of information, people's emails and phone numbers, that is so unethical. Are you kidding me? Nobody gave you permission to take their information. Why are you doing that? I know why. Because like this agent said, now he's going to go and reach out to these buyers to try and convince them to work with him. Some real estate agents will stop at nothing to get a deal. And many top producers Look, I hate to say this, but there are many, many top producers who pull tactics like this. And this is why they're top producers. They're all about getting the deal done. They're all about, like, they want to be known as the number one agent in their office, or they want to win all these awards, saying, like, I'm the top sales guy, to make themselves look better. And they will stop at nothing to make that happen. This is a perfect example. I know of agents in my market that will actually knock on the door of somebody who already has a for sale sign on their house. The house is listed on MLS, but though they don't care. You're not supposed to talk to a seller. If they have a signed listing agreement with another real estate agent, you're not supposed to approach that seller. But there are agents that will do that to try and convince them, you know what, I can get you a better price on this house. You shouldn't be working with this agent. They're out there. And now that the market has slowed down, agents are getting more desperate. So again, please, can we just do better? It's you slimeball agents, you shady agents that are giving the industry, you're giving all the realtors a bad name. It's got to stop. This next TikTok, you're not going to believe this one. Oh my God.
What would you do if a real estate agent was pressuring you to buy a house that had foundation issues and was potentially slipping down a hill? This is a scenario that happened to some clients of mine, and before they met me, they were in escrow on a house, and the realtor was pressuring them to close on this home that had foundation issues. They would not recommend they do a second inspection, find out in more detail what was wrong with the foundation, only that the general home inspector said this house has foundation issues and is potentially slipping down the hill. Now, this is a scary situation for anybody. For anyone who has purchased a home, you know that issues can come up with home inspections when you're in escrow. Anytime I've been in escrow and there's been major issues such as foundation, I always recommend we do a second home inspection. We extend the home inspection contingency period, allowing us more time to further investigate and make sure that the issue is fixable and, more importantly, will be safe when you move in. But the agent my clients were using before was pressuring them to close on this deal. Now, immediately I knew they were just looking at the paycheck. They did not care about the longevity of keeping that client. They just wanted a quick paycheck. This is why I am telling people to interview several different agents before deciding who is going to represent you to buy a house. You should interview at the very minimum 3 real estate agents. Ask them tons of questions about the market. What would you do in this hypothetical situation? Ask them about their experience, how many transactions they've done. This is going to be key when figuring out who you're going to use to buy a house.
Okay, I love this guy's advice. He shares the same sentiment as I do when it comes to choosing a real estate agent. So as he said, and I've said this, you want to interview at least 3 real estate agents. But before I dive into that, I want to go back to what his clients experienced with that first agent that was pressuring them to buy the house with the supposed foundation issues. You have a right, not only for the regular home inspection, but you have a right to do further inspections. If the home inspector is pointing out potential problems, get a structural engineer. You got to get a chimney inspection done. Whatever they're saying, they're pointing out that could be a potential problem, you want to cover yourself. You want to make sure that the problem is fixable, or if you need to walk away. Case in point, here's a perfect example. Several years ago, I had clients that came to me. They were working with another agent. They were under contract on another house, very similar to this. They found about $40,000 worth of repairs that were needed on the house that they were about to buy. And what did the real estate agent do? He went MIA. He stopped answering their phone calls, stopped answering their texts, because he knew the deal was probably going to fall apart. So he didn't want to bother, because he was all about collecting his commission check, and he just gave up on them, because now that there's issues with the house, that they're probably going to walk away from it. So he just gave up on them. Now, luckily, they had the attorney to work with, and the attorney went back to the seller's attorney. They tried to come to common ground. Didn't happen. The deal fell apart, and that agent, again, went MIA. So therefore, they found me, loved working with them, was able to get them a house. They bought a house. Same thing happened. There were some issues on this house that they were buying. We brought in another level of inspections, because there was issues with the deck, there was issues with the fireplace. And I will tell you, it got a little challenging on my end dealing with the listing agent, because they were not happy with the fact that we found some defects in the house. But look, the reality was there was problems with the house. They needed to be addressed. And, it got to the point the listing agent was accusing my clients of they just want to get money off the price of the house. And they were looking for a brand new deck. That's why they're bringing this up. No, there were legitimate problems. We need to have this looked into, and we got to find a common ground. Look, the role of real estate agents, we're here to be the buffer between the buyer and the seller, okay? It's a very emotional process for both parties. The real estate agents are here to to take that level of stress somewhat off of the shoulders of the buyers and sellers. We're the ones who are going to have those tough conversations on your behalf to try and find a common ground to see if things can be rectified and fixed if issues arise. Now, this case where this buyer agent was trying to push that buyer to buy a house that was potentially slipping down a hill. Oh my God, how do you sleep at night? Like, really, come on, do better. I want to add to what that last agent said in his TikTok regarding interviewing 3 agents. I've said this a number of times here. I highly recommend that. If you're going to be interviewing agents, the other thing you need to do is what he's saying, to find out how many transactions they've done, find out how they've handled difficult transactions. And another key thing, ask for references. Ask to speak with their previous clients to get their feedback on how well the agent did the job for them. This is really important. Remember, you're hiring this person to represent you. So treat this like a true job interview, right? So if you're interviewing for a job, they're going to ask you for references. You can do the same thing with a real estate agent. Ask for references. You want to get the real feedback from real people that worked with this real estate agent. So you can get a real understanding, a good feel, a good vibe, whether or not that agent is going to be the right fit for you. So I reviewed these videos for you to point out some shady tactics that agents do. I really hope you found value in that. And now you'll be able to spot when an agent's pulling a shady stunt. And if they are, run very, very far away. Just run. It's not worth it. Do you also want to know what things you should not say to a real estate agent when you're buying a house? This. Watch this. It's got a lot of good information in it. Thank you so much for watching me today to get your dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time.